Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Stampfarm. Stampfarm is a 2 to 5 player game that takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play, and it's published by DV Games. In Stampfarm, you're trying to get the largest group of each type of animal on there to score the most points. There's going to be 2 levels to this game. There's going to be the beginner level and the advanced level. We're going to go down to the table here. I'm going to show you what comes in the beginner level and what you do for the advanced level. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is Stampfarm. In Stampfarm, you're going to have 2 different modes in the game. You're going to have a basic mode and an advanced mode. In the basic mode, you're going to remove this hay bale and these cards. You're also not going to worry about this barrier here anymore for the basic mode. And what you're going to do is, on your turn, you're going to roll these 3 dice, take a look at their faces here, and there'll be 1 for each of these animals plus a hay bale, which is this one right here. This one right here. You're going to pick one of these, and then these 2 are available for everyone else. So let's say I wanted the sheep, and I would take the sheep stamp and I would put it anywhere I want on the board. All right, then all the other players, they don't actually take the die, but they get to pick from one of the remaining dice. In this case, they don't have much of a choice. There's just ducks. So they get a duck, and they have to place a duck on their board here. The play is going to go to the next player. That player is going to roll these 3 dice, going to pick one to keep, and that's the die they're going to use to put their stamp on, and then everyone else gets to pick from the remaining dice. Just as a note, multiple people can pick the same die that is out on the table, just not the die that player that rolled it took. A couple things with this game. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make the largest group of each of these animals, and the largest group of each of these animals will score at the end of the game 1 point for each of the animal in the large group. So there's 5 different animals, and there's 5 different ways you score. You do not lose any points for not having an animal type on there, and you're just simply trying to have the most points at the end of the game. If there's ties are friendly in this game, those people win. Now, in this basic game, one thing to bring up is the stamp for the hay bale is missing. The hay bale right here is wild. So whoever picked this or are able to pick it gets to put down a stamp of their choice. Now, with using the advanced mode, this stamp comes in, which is your yellow stamp for your hay bale here, and these cards come in. Oh, one other thing in the basic mode, you'll notice how you have this barn here. You can dump up to 2 animals that you don't want into this barn here, so you don't have to put them on your board. The game will end for the basic mode when the board is full. So each player will, when their board is full, their turns are over. In the advanced mode, that's the same thing, except for now we have this yellow hay bale that I was telling you about, and we're going to shuffle up this large deck of tiles here with all sorts of really cool objectives. And sorry, some of these were upside down. You're going to be trying to meet these objectives, and notice there's hay bales on some of these. And in the base game, you can't put down hay bales. In this game, you can. So the rules for the hay bales themselves are going to be pretty simple. If someone rolls a hay bale and you can select it, you're going to either put a stamp of a hay bale on your board, or you're going to pick an animal of your choice and place those out there. Now, during the preparation of the game, you're going to put out 3 of these objectives. And these are going to be objectives that you're going to try to reach to gain the points listed on here. So like this one here, if I have this duck by the border, which is right here, I get 1 point for each, oh sorry, it's a goose, for each goose adjacent to the hedge. So there's all these spaces here. I can get a ton of points at the end of the game for each goose adjacent to it. This here, I get for each cow and sheep adjacent to the hedge, I'll get a point. Here, for each cow and pig adjacent to the hedge, I get 2 points. So I'm going to try to use that hedge. Now, when you're scoring groups in the advanced mode, this hedge right here breaks up groups. So technically for group counting, any animals adjacent to each other here are no longer adjacent. This is just for these scoring bonuses that happen to be on these tiles. But there's a lot of them. Like right here, this one here is 4 points for each hay bale adjacent to at least 2 sheep. So in a quick nutshell, that's the game. So the basic game is going to be real simple. You won't have these and you won't have these objective tiles you can score at the end of the game. You'll just have these guys here. You'll roll your 3 dice. You'll pick one. Your opponents get to pick one of the 2 remaining, and they can all pick the same one if they want. And you're going to place these stamps anywhere on your board. You can dump some into the barn here, so you don't have to place them on the board. The game ends when the board is full. In the advanced mode, the hay bale stamp comes out, and you can use the hay bale stamp for either a wild, so placing any other stamp you want in its place, or placing the hay bale on there. Why you might want to do that is because one of the 3 objectives that you're going to randomly put out of the game might include a hay bale. And these objectives were going to be additional scoring for the end of the game. So not only are you going to get scoring for your largest groups and the number that's in them, but you could also get scoring for meeting any of these bonus tiles. So like I said, in a real quick nutshell, that is Stampfarm. Let's go ahead back up the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. Okay, so this game here says it's for ages 6 and up. I'd say you could actually even go a little lower with that, especially with the beginner portion of the game. If you stay with that, you can probably go as low as like 4 or 5, because it's a lot of fun stamping those little animals on the board, and they can learn to keep the animals together so they can get higher scores. So for the beginner game, I think that younger will probably work out. 6 and up is probably going to be best for the advanced version of the game, because in the advanced version of the game you'll have those goals that you have out and they have to do some extra thinking on how to line those up, but then still balance that out with getting those group points. So they have to determine whether they're going to get more points through meeting those different goals, or they're going to get more points for having large groups of animals, and then how to deal with when they get rolls of stuff they don't want. So a lot of fun. It's a really good roll and write. I guess it's a roll and stamp, but it's the same roll and write idea. Game. Really good qualities. The stamp are really good quality. And you can, from Googling online, you can actually refill those. I don't know if you can get the same ink colors, but I don't know how long they'll last. I think they seem like they're going to last a pretty long time with the amount of ink that's in them, but I do like that you can sort of refill those things so that they can keep on going. I will have to maybe do an update video or update post when I get to the point where I have to refill the ink on them, but the stamps are good quality. There's a good stack of sheets in this game. I normally laminate the sheets, which won't work in this case, but maybe I'm going to see if I can do, like, they have that matte laminate. Maybe I can see if that works, or something in that area. Or I'll just reprint some more sheets on there. But as a kid's game, they're going to like the bright colors, so I'm probably have to color print them. But, and also it'll be a very long time before we get through that pad, because there's a lot of sheets in there. I think that it's a lot of fun because it's a tactile game for kids. So kids get to put those stamps on the board and try to figure that stuff out. So half the fun is just stamping the board. And they get that cool decision of, like, when they roll the dice, what die they're going to keep, and then what dice do they give to the other players. So the kids get a little better at the game. They become a little sneakier and look at the other players' boards and say, well, you have a lot of chickens there. I don't want to give you a chicken, and that sort of thing. So really good game to grow into. I'd probably say, even with the advanced level, 8 and up, you'll probably grow out of it pretty quickly. But 6 to 8 for the advanced game is going to probably be the best spot for it. And for beginner, like I said, you could probably go as low as 4, just depending. It'll have to be probably, like when I have my 4-year-old play, I help her out a little bit and keep her engaged in it. The game's very short too, which is also a big bonus, because whenever a kid games, if they become too long, kids lose interest really quickly. So overall, I actually like this game a lot. I think that it's a neat concept. The stamps, like anything else that can wear out over time, always scares me. But like I said, I did see that you could refill them in a way. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, overall, if you're looking for a kid's game, let's say between 4 and 8, I would highly recommend checking out Stampfarm. So that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.